Heyo! On into game number 3, Belshir Vestige LE. Top left-hand corner, our red Zerg player. Startail Life. Tricky little guy. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand corner, my Insanity Stardust, is going to be our blue Protoss player to finish up this series. Currently tied at 1-1. Stardust managing to take the victory last game with kind of, it was funny how it happened, because I know at least sometimes when I play, your opponent does something and you just kind of react because that's the only thing you can do. So we had Life like send a bunch of Zerglings straight on into Stardust base, and he does a full wall off with like an extra gateway and another extra gateway, and then he just ends up using those to win the game with a very long push that worked out. I thought that was pretty funny. Now, this is kind of weird. I'm looking at this probe. So he has it on the low ground, so this is probably going to be a Forge expand here, I would imagine, coming out of Stardust. And Startail Life hasn't thrown down a pull just yet, but of course he can. Still good enough minerals. No, not going for it yet, getting up to 15. There goes the pool, shows it right there in front of him. So, you know, Startail Life has really been favoring pool openings as opposed to hatch openings for a very, very long time. It just allows you to apply a lot of pressure, and of course it lets you make lings. Excuse me, which is probably one of Life's favorite features of StarCraft 2, is that you can make Zerglings. Everyone knows his escapades as far as making Zerglings go, and what he can actually pull off with those guys. This is actually going to be a Nexus first. Okay, I can follow that. This is a map where you can easily wall off after scouting out a hatch. You know, this late. Even if with this spawning pool first, you can throw down a Forge and then easily throw up a gateway and another pylon or whatever have you. 2 gateways. So he shouldn't do much with that. He's actually blocking off the third. Doesn't want him to go over there and take a quick third after he scouts out that he's got a Forge himself. So he does see a Forge now at his opponent's base. Gateway's there. And then, let's see, how is he going to wall this off? Is he going to put it here? Or is he going to... This is kind of a weird wall off. Is there going to be a pylon there? Okay, he's going to put a cannon there. All right. Okay, a little bit of a forward cannon. So the pylon did finish. One drone's going over there. He does see it with the Overlord, but he's not sending the Zerglings over there. The Zerglings are heading across the map, and I'm not sure why, because they're not going to get there in time. I'm thinking that's going to get done in time. We'll see. The Zerglings are making their way across here. There's 4 Zerglings. This is going to throw down his third at the same period, but there's a hole at the top. He blocks it off the pylon, and now he's going to go try to get into the main. The probe sacrifices himself and throws down a pylon on top of it. So that's going to lose a probe, force to cancel a pylon. He's actually canceled this one and this one. So 2 pylons canceled there. Now, was that worth the cost of delaying this third base for this long? I'm not sure. It's looking like, you know, Life, of course, built around it. Got some more Zerglings over here. But this delayed his third quite a bit. I'm sure he forced 2 pylons, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say how much actually he would have benefited from just taking that third just a little bit quicker. So a probe trying to sneak out, not going to happen. Startail Life with the Zergling over there on the right and on the left. Has a Hawkeye, and now he sneaks back out once again, and we'll see where he's headed to. No third, so he pulled the drone back, not even going to take a third. He's making some more drones, so not going to take a third on this follow-up. So that's probably why he didn't send those Zerglings over there. He wasn't planning to take a third that quickly anyway. He sent the drone over there to make it, you know, kind of look like it, but I mean, he scouted out first, so he just was probably trying to fake out Stardust, I would imagine. Now, Stardust is going to come up here and check. Okay, there's no hatch, so that's definitely a 2-base play. Stargate coming up for Stardust, and now he's going to go in the main and try to see what's going on, but of course, there's not much going on in here. There's gas, and there's just not much going on for Life. Just droning up at this point. So a little bit of a mind games coming out of Life, I think. Coming up, extra queens. Is that the 4th? Okay, making another 4th queen here. The probe will get taken out eventually, that guy. But, you know, for his cost, he did manage to scout out. There's no third just yet. Life leaving a Zergling here outside the main. He could scout this out if he gets in closer. If he just gets a little bit closer, he could scout out this right there. This is going to be a Void Ray coming out of Stardust. The Zergling's just not close enough. Roach Warren coming up, and 2 Evolution Chambers. Another gas is built. And there are the evolution chambers. Speed close to being done. I don't think he saw that. The Zergling moved out of the way. No, he still hasn't seen that, even though it's easily within vision. A second photon cannon going up, so that's, you know, a pretty common response if you see your opponent, especially if you're a Protoss versus a Zerg, and you find out, alright, he was kind of faking taking a third, he didn't. It kind of makes sense for him to throw down a second photon cannon, worried about some type of really big all-in, maybe Zergling Baneling bust. But of course, that wasn't the situation. So Stardust has his Void Ray out. He can kind of fly around the map, pick off some Void or Overlords. Uh-oh. I think he lost like what was that, one Zergling there, maybe two. This Overlord flew right past this. All right, this Void Ray flew right past this Overlord. He's gonna stay alive. A lucky dog right there. But what is Life up to? He's teching up again. He's getting the melee upgrades, and he still hasn't taken another base. Okay, this has to be his third base now. So, okay, now he's finally taken his third base. He does have a pretty big supply lead. His worker count was easily higher than his opponent's for quite a while, considering he skipped that third base. And he probably recently just reached saturation. He had 20 guys in there and 18 there, so has a good economy. And the third third base is close to being done. We have a Warp Prism coming out. So Stardust definitely looking like he's going to go and hit an attack here fairly soon. I don't see him taking a third base. But he... Okay, here are the gateways. There are the gateways. I was like, he's got to be making gateways somewhere. They're being built up here. So this is going to be a two-base play coming from Stardust. And Life is going to have to hold on for everything he's worth. He's going to have 1-1 done. But, of course, the Protoss player will have his, I think, one attack. Does he already have one attack done? No, that'll be his first attack upgrade. But it's going to be nice having those armor upgrades. So, already seeing this, Life sees this. He's going to run straight onto his opponent's base, but his Zealot gets warped in there. That's going to be very costly to try and break that down. So, we've got 4 flying units heading across the map here for Stardust, going straight on into the main. 2 Void Rays, 1 Warp Prism, 1 Mothership Core, and that's it. Now we have some Zealots running across the map as well. A couple more pylons going down. He's got to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked, which he is right now. Another Void Ray being built. Is this third base still... Okay, just now finished. I was wondering, did he cancel that or what? But the Queens are now quickly trying to get in the main there. He's even brought a probe. What is this? What is Stardust doing here? That's a lot of Zerglings he's got to take out. Oh, the Zerglings get in the back. The Zealot's being warped in. There's Roaches, there's Queens. There's a lot of Queens. 5 Queens to deal with 2 Void Rays. The Void Rays taking out the Roaches first, taking those guys down very quickly. Actually, no. Okay, yeah, he's actually transfusing that Roach. I was like, what is taking so long for those Void Rays to kill? But look at this Life with way too many units. Stardust. I gotta give it to him. That was a build I don't think I've ever seen before out of a Protoss player. Just Void Rays, a Pylon, and a Warp Prism with a probe in there, and just kind of, you know, hold that high ground. But Life held on there, and this is not in a position you want to be versus Life, where you go in for an attack, he shuts you down. He's on third base, 3 bases. He can now easily, safely drone up that third base. He just has to deal with a couple of these Void Rays, which won't be too big of a problem considering he's already starting to make Hydras, so we'll have the AA needed to deal with the Void Rays. His creep spread is starting to grow a little bit now. Definitely going to need that. With as many Queens as he has, this creep spread is going to go crazy across the map. It's going to be hard for these Void Rays to sneak up on this third base, but it's looking like they're going to be able to do it. And over here on the left, the Warp Prism is making its way into the main. There's no defensive in here. Actually, there's 2 Zerglings. Actually, never mind. A lot of Roaches moving in here as well. So it needs the AA on the right, which is Queens and Hydras versus 3 Void Rays and a Mothership Core. That's not going to be enough. These Queens are just too much of a defense to deal with that, considering those transfuses. But look at all this defense. Stardust is getting ramped up for another attack. Life trying to get in the main, but no, that's not going to happen. There's too much there. Not even Life can get in through this wall of Sentries, Immortals, and Photon Cannons. So we're looking for a second attack coming out of Stardust here. He's working on his armor upgrades. That's going to put him at 1-1, while Life is close to being 2-2. So he's going to have 2-2 at the same time when Stardust actually reaches his opponent's base with 1-1. And those upgrades are going to be very nice to have. And not to mention, all these Queens are just gaining energy. He's got all these Hydras. Hydras don't have any upgrades as far as damage goes, but he's going to have the muscular augment upgrade, which will be very nice. And these Zerglings are just kind of just being a pain in the ass for Stardust. They haven't really accomplished anything except putting blood all over the front of his base, which I don't think Stardust is too beat up about. And he's taking a third base down here, but it does get scattered out by this one single Zergling. So it wasn't a big second attack here coming out of Stardust. He's going to chill back, build up his army, get one of those very famous Protoss death balls, and give it a go later on in the game. Once he gets a couple Colossus, probably Blink Stalkers out as well. Speed upgrade close to being done for Startail Life as far as these Hydralisks go. And these Zerglings, these are the same Zerglings he made at the beginning of the game. And remember when that pack of Zerglings was a lot bigger? This is just what's left of every time he goes in and poke. He kind of just loses one, loses another one every time, trying to make its way back in there. So 4th base goes down for life. He can easily defend this, so he can take his, he can easily take this base and even another one if he really felt like it, but not too much of a need to take it. But he's going to look at that, take down those Void Rays. Wow, Stardust was not ready for these Hydralisks to come out of there with this speed upgrade, which is a pretty quick speed upgrade, all things considering. So that managed to allow him to take out 2 Void Rays, which is kind of big considering how much those guys cost. Didn't really get too much work done with those Void Rays. Of course, I mean, he forced to make a lot of Roaches, but and he forced a lot of Queens. But Queens, they pay off throughout the game here, especially, you need a couple to throw down some injects and spread creep tumors, build up energy. And this army from Startail Life is looking pretty serious. The supply 196 versus 135. If we take a look at the supply as far as armies go, 127 versus 92 worker supply, 71 versus 49. And now Startail Life looking for a fight. Stardust looking like he doesn't want to fight. He throws down every single thing you can throw at him. He's got Guardian Shield, he's got Time Warps, he's got Force Fields, and this Zerg army is not enough to take that engagement through all those big shiny orbs and octagons and whatnot, forcing him to retreat now. Life is going to have a defensive position here on creep, going to force Stardust to walk up this ramp into a choke, but will he have enough to deal with this? Will there be enough Guardian Shields, enough Void, or enough Sentry energy? Let me check the Sentries here. Sentry's moving around there. He only has 3 Sentries, that's enough for about 5 more Force Fields. We'll see Colossus doing their work in the back. Startail Life trying to poke in, he's got some Fungals eventually here with that Infestor. And now he's got enough for Vipers. Does he have enough for Pull? Yes, he's got enough energy. He's going to yoink up those Colossus. 1, 2. Both those guys going down on top of him. They crush this Force Fields that he threw down on top of us. They're getting a really good value out of that yoink there. And now he's just pushing forward. But this army from Stardust is still around. Life has got 17 Roaches coming out. But Roaches versus an Immortal and this many Stalkers, I don't know how effective that's going to be. Startail Life is in quite a predicament. Of course, he's got 3 Roaches down here, but those guys are just being annoying at this point. He really needs to focus on this big force. Pushing through the middle. Life now pulling the drones. Colossus running for his life. Not now. pulls him back with the yoink. Now he's getting flanked on the right side, but the rest of the drones, he's pulling drones from every single base. The Stalkers are still alive, but the Roaches count is still quite massive, and a lot of Hydras in the back throwing down the damage. Stardust is looking like this is going to be it for him. Even the Overlord's coming to take a look at the massacre, and that's going to be GG there. It was looking a little close, like Stardust had an opportunity to. He was just going right for the throat. It may have been a safer play for Stardust to, instead of going straight into the natural, move to the 3rd, take out the 3rd. He can even back up, go down here, take out the 4th, play it safe. But he thought he had enough to do the killing blow there. He thought he had enough, to use a Hearthstone term, be fatal, but it just wasn't enough, and Life is not to be underestimated, that's for sure. So that was the end of this series. Startail Life taking it 2-1 over 3 pretty close games versus Stardust. And that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Check out more of my stuff at youtube.com/EonShiKeno if you're interested in some Arma 3 Altus Life. Watch me run around and steal cars and just do stupid shit. Check out that. I got a playlist for it. And, of course, my Hearthstone videos, my arena runs. Those are pretty fun. And that's about it. Follow me on Twitter at EonShiKeno. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/EonShiKeno. I'll see you guys later.